What drives you? What makes you go on to drive your very best? What is your reason for going on? To drive the best race, to finish, to win. I was born and raised in Cuba. When I was very young, there was a great revolution and thousands of people went to the mountains to fight with Fidel Castro as guerrilla fighters against the tyranny of Fulgencio Batista. Actually, my aunt and uncle were part of that guerrilla warfare. They were guerrilla fighters with Castro. In 1959, Castro won the war, and we thought everything was going to be great. But unfortunately, in 1 year, Castro nationalized all the businesses, gagged all the media, and separated children from their families. Pretty soon, I was marching, wearing my little army uniform in Castro's militia. And my parents said, enough. We don't want my son, they didn't want me to be part of Castro's army. So they sent me away to the United States. I arrived in Miami in October the 8th, 1961. And then I started to think about where my parents were coming, and actually they came a few months later. Now here's the problem though, they had to leave everything behind. Everything behind. So they had to leave their house, their furniture, the refrigerator, the hi-fi, the TV, the Mercury on the driveway. Because that's how it is. You can't just sell your stuff and then leave. You have to leave everything exactly where it is, and you have to behave as if everything is perfectly normal. And then one day you call the taxi and they take you to the airport and you never come back. So they came to the United States and I was already here in Miami. And they joined me, and my father needed some work, so he went to an auto mechanic shop because he used to have a hobby as an auto mechanic, and he worked for 60 hours, but he only got paid 40 bucks. So he said, we're being exploited, we have to get out of here. So he said, we're leaving Miami. We got a one-way ticket to Philadelphia, so off we went to Philadelphia. And all we had was our summer clothes from Cuba, and it was winter. So he got a job. You know, he couldn't speak English, my dad. He had been an accountant in Havana, but he couldn't speak English, so he gets a job as a janitor in a diner. And then he starts making a few dollars. Actually, he made $42.08 a week. That's what he made. And from that, he used to come home and put the money on the bed and spread it around and say, this much for food, this much for the rent, this much for electric. And that's how I learned about budgeting. One day, he came home and he got a promotion because he learned enough English that he could be an accounting clerk. And when he became an accounting clerk, he got a little promotion. And I remember saying to Mommy, Mommy, now we don't have to cut the napkins in half because Papi got a promotion. But then he got laid off. So he started looking for work and he landed a job in Delaware. Now we were in New Jersey, in a little town called Carneys Point, New Jersey. And we had to move to Delaware, so off he goes to Delaware, and then we followed him. So I had been in 5 schools in 3 years by now, see, because we keep moving around for following my dad as he looks for work. So we're now in Dover, Delaware, and I'm a freshman in high school, and I wanted to play basketball. But all I had was leather shoes, and I said to Mommy and Papi, you know, I need a pair of sneakers so I can play basketball. And now I knew when I was asking, and my parents were very poor, and they didn't have the money for a pair of sneakers, but you know, I asked them, they agreed with me that I should play basketball, so we went out and we bought a pair of high tops, you know, remember the black high tops like that, for $7. So now I had my $7 sneakers. Oh my gosh, they were brand spanking new. I valued them so much. I kept the box that they came in because I never got anything, and now I even got a box that comes with it, so the box is valuable. So I held on to the box and the sneakers. I got my $7 sneakers. I'm awesome, you know, so I'm going off to play basketball. So go to play basketball in the gym the next day. And, you know, the coach says, you know, let's do some drills and stuff. And then he has all the kids blindfolded, dribbling, you know. So guess what? I can't dribble blindfolded. So I'm kicking the ball all over the gym. You're out of there. $7 sneakers, can't play basketball. I was so ashamed. I was so embarrassed. You know, my parents went out of their way. You know, they really broke their budget in order to get me these $7 sneakers. And I'll tell you, I was so embarrassed. My father's waiting outside. I go out to sit in his car. He's got this old 55 Chevy, and I sit in the front seat. He said, Dad, how did it go? I said, Papi, you know, I didn't make the team. You know, I got washed out. He said, what are you talking about? And I explained. I said, he said, that's not fair. That's not the way it should be. And I said, Papi, that's the way it is. You know, it's just the way it is. So I'm so embarrassed. I got these $7 sneakers, and I can't play basketball. So it hits me, I tell you, it hits me hard. Even today, that I can't, you know, make it up to Papi. So I ask you, what drives you? What keeps you going on? What is your reason for driving your very best to finish the race, to win? I'll tell you what drives me. What drives me is making it up to Papi.